Hello, my name is Paul Pino. How's everybody out there in Radio Land?
It's great to have you here with us, Paul. It's great to get you up, you and the Tone Daddies. And you got with you Jimmy James Sanchez on the drums, Smooth Mike Layden on guitar and keyboards, and both Paul Pino and Mike Layden were up on Raíces not too long ago. No, that was great, and that gave us this idea. Bill Allen on background vocals, Manny Benavides on bass, and of course Paul Pino on singing and guitar, and yeah. And what you got for us?
Man, we got some all original songs. And we got hay fever and things like that, but we are ready to rock. We got several different types of music that we're going to play. We call our music extreme variety, hardcore New Mexico style. And should we play the first one?
Go for it.
Okay. Before we start off, I wanted to tell you that we are like 1,000 other musicians here in New Mexico. We're pretty good sometimes.
Dia de los Vivos.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Esta cumbia es para todos en el mundo. Esta cumbia es para todos en el cielo. Todos quieren bailar, todos quieren cantar. Esta cumbia es para el Día de los Vivos. Todos pueden volar. Esta cumbia es para todos aquí. Esta cumbia es para todos allá. Todos pueden bailar, todos pueden cantar. Esta cumbia es. Woo! Woo! Thank you so much for having us here, Louis.
Yeah, man. Thank the whole station. And yeah, this is a relatively new program that we got going on KUNM, Studio 505, where, among other things, we feature local talent here from Nuevo Mexico. So it's great to have you guys up here because you're exemplary of all that. And you got another tune you're going to play, and let's come back and talk a little bit, no?
Yes. Here's the most popular song that I've written. For some reason, I think it's about the topic. It's called Pásate la Botella. But before I say that, I wanted to tell people that I hope we can make some mistakes tonight so that people out there won't think that we're machines. Just a minute. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uno, dos, tres, four. Será qué vida estoy viviendo en las cantinas. Noches borrachas, mujeres malas gachas. Ay, qué vida. Last night we all went out dancing. Tonight I might do it again. They say that this nightlife might kill me, but nobody can tell me when. So pásame, pásale, pásate la botella. 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 Anoche alguien me dijo, el licor te va a matar, pero él no me dijo cuándo, y por eso ya me estoy emborrachando. Well, Monday I danced until Tuesday. Tuesday I danced until 3. And if you get bored on Wednesday, come along dancing with me. So pásame, pásale, pásate la botella. Pass the bottle, brother. Pásame, pásale, pásate la botella. Pásame, pásale, pásate la botella. Pásame, pásale, pásate la botella. Woo! Woo!
All right.
And in the future, I'll tell the band what we're going to play.
Yeah.
I just started playing.
That probably helps, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, before we do anything else, I want to go around. You guys are the Tone Daddies, Los Tone Daddies, I call you. And I want to start right here with Bill on the vocals, background vocals. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Well, I'm originally from Texas.
Texas.
Lived all over Texas and went into the military and spent 24 years and retired here out here at Kirtland in the special ops groups.
All right.
And then slowly wound up singing here and there. And Paul took me in, and these guys helped nurture me for the last 5 years.
All right.
And it's been a great ride, great trip.
All right. And we got Manny Benavides on bass.
Hello,
And where are you from, Manny?
I'm originally from Las Vegas,
From
New
Las
Mexico.
Vegas, all
New
right.
Mexico.
All right.
Sin City.
Sin City.
And you've been playing for a long time.
I've got about 53 years.
Yeah. You probably tell a lot of stories about
Oh,
New Mexico music and coming up playing.
yes.
Probably played with a lot of people. No,
Yes,
can you give
yes.
us a sense of some of the folks you maybe played with?
We had a group in Vegas. It was called Midnight Special,
All right.
and we did variety. It was a trio.
Yeah.
It was a trio. And then when I started playing, I had just turned 11, and we got a job at a bar. We were 11 years old, and we were playing at a bar called the Bottle Shop.
The Bottle Shop.
Yeah, and then just
And
freelance, picked up songs from other musicians there.
I used to like hanging out at the Victory Bar back when that was open.
I remember the Victory Bar, the Peñas, yes.
You got it.
Yes.
You got to meet all kinds of characters in there. All right. And we got, let's see. Oh, Smooth Mike Layden
Yes.
on guitar and keyboards. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, I was born in L.A. and moved here when I was an infant. And so I call myself a pseudo-native because my whole upbringing has been New Mexico.
Yeah.
And I've played music up in Santa Fe for 50 years. I was in several bands. And then I came to Albuquerque and danced for 5 years with my wife, and before she passed away. And then Paul Pino needed a guitar player, and I went and auditioned, and they told me, "You're never going to quit this band."
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying playing with Paul and the guys ever since.
All right. And last but not least, we got Jimmy Sanchez over on the drums.
First of all, thank you guys for having us here. It's a great opportunity. I met Paul actually sitting in with him, and I've been with him for about 4 years now, and it's been an amazing ride. Little history is I played in a band in high school, and then, of course, life comes along, and you have kids and working and no playing. But I had told my wife, Celia, that when I retire, I wanted to get in a band. And lo and behold, I found the greatest band on the planet Earth. I was lucky to play with them. And just a plug for my wife, Celia, she's my manager. I never kept a calendar when I work, but now I keep a calendar because we play a lot. But bottom line, thank you guys for having us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and where are you from, Jimmy?
I am from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Grew up in the South Valley. I've moved around the country. I lived in Hawaii, but I always come back home, and I really do love living where I live. It's an amazing place.
Yeah. I'm sure you got plenty of stories, especially about how is it that all the Chicanada end up over in Hawaii? That's the craziest thing, man.
I tell those guys when I was there, I go, you guys are really Chicanos. You try to cross the Rio Grande, got lost at sea. We have Matanzas, they have luau's, they're very family orientated. They great musicians,
Yep.
a lot of those things.
Crazy, man. And gonna circle back around, Paul, on some other stuff, but let's get into some more music. You got a tune you want to do, and I'm gonna come back to some of the stuff
Okay.
the last tunes did next time. But
Okay.
Desert Paradise, tell us about that.
All right. This is a song that I was imagining playing the guitar around a campfire with my buddy Fuzzy LaFave in Carisoso, and I haven't done it yet. We've jammed a lot there, but we never had a campfire. But anyway, I was just thinking about New Mexico and the area around Carisoso and wrote this song called Desert Paradise. 1, 2, 3. Tonight that wind plays a barbed wire fence guitar that my granddaddy built around this yard, and the coyotes harmonize, and they help me realize that we're living in a desert paradise. Yes, we're living in a desert paradise. Now there are lots of exotic places I don't care to be, 'cause this high lonesome desert's got a hold of me. You know I do love staring at the deep blue sea, but I always love living on the lone prairie. Tonight that wind plays a barbed wire fence guitar that my granddaddy built around this yard. And the coyotes harmonize, and they help me realize that we're living in a desert paradise. Yes, we're living in a desert paradise. I said we're living in a desert paradise. Nuevo Mexico. Woo! Sí, señor.
And thank you for that, Paul, and all y'all Tone Daddies. It's great having you up here. If you just tuned into KUNM, this is Studio 505, and we are presenting to you live and in living color up in the KUNM studios, Los Tone Daddies. And Paul, you're from Carizoso.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about what's that like.
Man, it was great. My parents, I bet, were so happy that they raised me there, because there was no way, or it was really hard to get into trouble.
Yeah.
But you had to use your imagination for everything. I remember my toys were a rock and a stick. And I don't like, it wasn't bad. It was freaking great. You know, sitting out by the ranch house in the sunshine, playing in the dirt. And it was just like super. I had a great upbringing on the ranch there. Then when I went to school, I had the most amazing classmates. It was about like half Anglo, half Spanish, and or Chicano, and people got along well. There were some really prejudiced teachers, but it was like the older people, you know. But all the young people that I went to school with, fantastic, man. They were great, and it was a real small school, so you knew everybody. There was only 29 people in my graduating class. Wow. So, yeah. Yeah.
Was that Carizoso at a high school, or
we had everything was together: the elementary school, middle school, and high school. Yeah.
Right down there.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing: we were football giants. We were like so good in football. We had 9 state football championships. Yeah.
Man.
Our claim to fame. That and good food. Everybody almost in New Mexico has been through Carizoso because it's a crossroads and because they like to go to Ruidoso. A lot of people say, I don't think I've ever been through there. And I said, have you ever been to Ruidoso? And they said, yeah. And I said, yeah, you've been through Carizoso.
Yeah, if you're taking the road down. I used to have a job delivering wine.
Wow, what a job.
Yeah, for this guy that didn't keep inventory. That was the best part.
Did you drop off a lot in Carizoso?
Not in Carizoso, but I used to go to Into the Mountain Gods and places like that. And of course, to make that run, you got to go out there, then down through Corona, and then Carizoso. Those were the two yard markers. I don't know whatever the right word is.
Yeah.
And getting down to Tularosa and then up into the mountains to make my delivery.
Yeah, those are the only 2 towns like Corona and Carizoso. And you pretty much have to stop for gas.
Pretty much.
Yeah. 'Cause you're like 60 miles from everything.
Hey, but I'll take that drive over the one down to Roswell any day of the week.
Yeah,
Right?
that's rough.
That's a pretty drive. It's a beautiful drive with the mountains coming up and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. And speaking of Carizoso, you got a tune you're going to play called "When I Was Young, I Was a Mexican."
Yep.
And this has to do with your upbringing in Carizoso. Why don't you set that up for us?
Okay, so growing up there, like I told you, the older people, there was some people that were prejudiced, but it was pretty rare. They kept it pretty much under wraps, But when I was 4 years old, that my mom took me to the store, and she didn't want to go in, She probably wasn't dressed good enough or something, or she was self-conscious coming off the ranch, driving cows or something. She says, take this money, go to that, get some milk, go to that man over there that you see standing there and give it to him. I said, okay. And I'd only been to a store maybe like twice in my life. So I go in there, I get the milk, I go to the man, and I'm standing there, and he says, and then I didn't realize I was cutting the line. I didn't know what line was. I just went to the man, but I cut in front of some people, and he says, these darn Mexicans, they think they could just do whatever they want. And so I was walking back to the truck with the milk, and I was saying, what's a Mexican? But anyway, so anyway, this song is about the funny names that we give each other, and especially like Columbus coming over here and thinking he was in India, and that story. But anyway, we put a little funny spin on it, and Manny is gonna have a little lead bass part going into this. You want us to go into it now, or did you just want to talk about
Yeah,
some-
go for it. Go on.
Okay, when I was young, I was a Mexican. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I was young, I was a Mexican, but now I'm old. The story will be told when they found out that my family had some land. They said that I was Spanish and wanted to shake my hand. In school, English only was the golden rule. They said you're not Chicano, but Hispanic would be cool. I didn't like the panic, I didn't like the hiss. So if you wanna name somebody, why don't you think about this? No deben de poner un nombre si no conocen el hombre. Feel free to label a can, but don't label a man that you don't understand. Because Columbus sailed across the sea, looking for some spices and Indian tea. When he finally found brown people in the sun, he said, I'm looking for India, so you must be Indians. No deben de poner un nombre si no conocen el hombre. Feel free to label a can, but don't label a man that you don't understand. Don't label a man that you don't understand. Don't label nobody that you don't understand. 'Cause I was born in the USA. I was born in the USA. I was born in the USA. I was born in the USA.
Somebody give me a cup of cool ice.
In practice, he says crushed ice.
Crushed ice, yeah. All right. And I noticed I skipped the order a little bit there, but that's all right. That's a banging tune. Yeah, I mean, I could talk to all you guys about, how you grew up and kind of things that people had to deal with, and that's a funny song. Man.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I forgot to say earlier. So that same guy that called me names when I was a little 4-year-old. Later on, whenever we found out that my folks had land, then he would call me Spanish.
Yeah, you said that.
Spanish.
Yeah. It was like more respect or something.
Yeah. Well, you guys grew up when all that stuff was hitting the rubber hitting the road, and there was a lot of changes, and maybe there could be more changes, but as you were growing up, as you got older, you learned about a situation, affecting people in the valley there, in the Tularosa area, and I wouldn't want to get by without giving you a chance to talk a little bit about that, Paul, in terms of what it means to be a downwinder and what that's meant to you and how you've dealt with that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You better tell them what it means first.
Yep. So downwinders is everybody in New Mexico that grew up here, whether you know it or not, because they tested the world's first nuclear bomb here in 1945, July the 16th. And recent fallout maps have shown that that went all over the state. Some people think it just affected around Tularosa, and that's what I thought for a while, you know. And but it's affected the whole state. We're all downwinders. So Tina Cordova, our leader of the Tularosa Basin Downwinders Consortium, she's been working on this for decades. And last year, we got a bill passed to cover lots of cancers for people. And it's just miraculous. You know, like she works so hard, and we have a steering committee, and we work so hard on setting this all up with our leaders, our political leaders, who are amazing in this state, you know. We set it all up and had it ready to go, and it would always fail. They wouldn't call it up to, you know, to have a vote on it or something like that. They'd just ignore it. They'd table it. The stars never lined up, but last year they did, and it was ready to go, and so bam, they just let it through. And so now lots of people that have certain cancers and that lived here between 1944 and 1962 can apply to get $100,000 in restitution for the cancer. You can apply for parents and children also that might have passed away from cancer. So that's a big step. And now we got that going, and you have 2 years to apply. And now our work hasn't ended, because now we're going to try to make it better, because they left out a lot of illnesses that they should have included. And they should include older people, too. I mean, they cut it off at 62. You had to live here between 44 and 62. And there's a lot of young people that have cancer. And so we really need to expand that, because this kind of radiation can remain deadly for 48,000 years. And that's, you know, that's past 1962.
Yeah, and people down your way will tell you that before the late 40s, 50s, whatever, and people didn't even know what cancer was.
Right. Yeah, they didn't know what cancer was, and they were afraid to visit somebody if they had cancer. They thought they might catch it. And another odd thing, the weather changed that year. It's never been the same. They used to dryland farm at the ranch up until 1944, and now if you put a seed in the ground and expect to do that, you're just like killing seeds, you know. But yeah, the weather changed, and I don't know if it was because of that, but the whole world has changed also.
Yeah, that was a thing on the Eastern Llano, was you know, dryland farm, bean farming, you know, for a lot of people that homesteaded and that sort of thing. Yeah. Right. Anyway, let's move on. You got a song. You started off by saying you were doing a fundraiser at the Zapata Club.
Oh yeah.
And but first of all, tell people what the Zapata Club is.
The Zapata Club. It's like a private club in a way. It looks like a VFW or something like that. But what it is, it's just a bunch of good-hearted people, a lot of them bikers, for some reason just got together in the South Valley and said, we need a club and we need to have a purpose, and the purpose is going to be to get shoes for kids, shoes and socks. Yep. And what they do is they have fundraisers like this, and the most beautiful thing about it, or one of the most beautiful things, is that they take the kid to the store and the kid picks out what they want, you know? Like, I think that's very thoughtful, because usually you'll buy a bunch of tennis shoes and say, look through these and see if there's something you like, you know? But these guys, they can go to the store and pick out what they want, man. It's super.
Yeah.
The Zapata Club.
That's right. That was Nieto Brothers and a bunch of others.
Oh,
got
is that
together
what
a long time ago.
Really?
Put
You
that
know about
together.
that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Community in action.
I didn't. I'd be honest with you though. I didn't know it was still around.
Yeah.
You know,
It's going strong.
Zapata Club's been
And
around a long time.
And I know, they make some amazing chicharrones for these things. So keep an eye out for the Zapata Club and fundraisers.
All right. And tell me about this song. Tócame una ranchera.
Okay. Yeah, so we're influenced a lot by living in New Mexico and by our audience. And there was a guy, he turned out to be my cousin, a distant cousin, and met him there at the Zapata Club. And his name was Johnny Chavez. And I was talking to him. He says, my mom was Pino. And I said, really? And then we started talking and realized that we were related. He was a little bit older than me. He was a dance enthusiast. And whenever we started playing, he said, Tócame una ranchera. And so I just love the sound of that. It's like musical, and the dude knows what he wants. And then I noticed that we hear that a lot, huh? People yell that out. So I thought that'd be funny to write a song called Tócame una ranchera. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Tócame una ranchera. Eso es que lo gritó un señor. Cántame una ranchera. Llévame para ayer, por favor. Encontró trabajo en El Paso, pero dejó a su familia en el rancho y dejó su corazón allá en la sierra. Por eso el Señor pidió ranchera. Cántame del rancho alegre, camarada. Cántame una ranchera del pasado. Con eso recuerdo mi historia y mi familia. Por eso el Señor pidió ranchera. Tócame una ranchera. Eso es que lo gritó un señor. Cántame una ranchera. Tócame una ranchera.
All right. Tócame una ranchera.
I'm so happy that everybody can sing in the band. It's great.
Yeah, that's a plus, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, Tócame una ranchera. You guys grew up with rancheras, most of you. You know, coming up, and you know, shortizas and valses and cumbias and everything else. No.
Yep.
And Paul, you're going to stick around the next hour, and we're going to get more into, you know, some of your musical influences. But I want to talk about that a little bit. Just
Okay.
when in the rest of you can chime in too on
Sounds
this. No?
good. Yeah.
Just, you know, what kind of things, what inspired you to get into music? Let me ask you that.
I think the radio and listening to my dad sing when we were riding horses out on the ranch, you know. And then I remember I was so little listening to the radio, and there was music coming out of it. I went around to the back of the radio to look in there to see the little people that were singing, you know. I was saying, where's that music coming from? So then I always liked to sing, mostly sing to myself and stuff like that, and I didn't disturb anybody because I was out on the range. And then when we moved into Carizoso, we were very fortunate to move one block away from the biggest dance hall in the county. It was the Nike Hall. So I got a job there, and I would like sell concessions and stuff like that when we were about 10 or 11. And here are the best bands around. I mean, great bands would come through there. It was really, really beautiful. And so that was my influence for Chicano music.
And that's what you were listening to Spanish language music
Yep.
mostly, and
Yeah.
on the radio as well, or
On the radio, there was a really powerful station from Juarez. I think it was like about a zillion watts. They had no
Yeah.
restrictions on power. You could probably hear it in Europe. But we heard some music through there. But also, the only rock station we could get was
KOMA.
KOMA. You all know too. Yeah.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, if we were up on the windmill with a transistor radio, we could get KOMA. And so that was cool.
yeah, man. And Manny, what about you? What kind of things inspired you to become a musician? And
Well, in the second grade, I can still remember it perfectly. I never had interest in instruments or music. We had a music teacher named Miss Winston, and she was our music teacher. She came in one day with all sorts of instruments, violins, a ukulele, a banjo, a guitar, and and a few horns. And she let us all come up and try them. And I stayed so fascinated with it. It hit me. It rang the bell.
was the bass your first instrument, or you did something else first?
No, I did guitar.
You did guitar.
I played guitar for about 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I got influenced by.
Were you able to get trained a little bit?
Well, at first, no. I had some neighbors that had bands,
Yeah.
and I can tell when they were going to practice because the cars would show up,
Uh-huh.
and I'd go over there, and they already knew me. I was just a little
Yeah, hanging out.
8 years old or something, and they'd put me milk crates, those metal milk crates, and they'd sit me there, and I'd listen to him play, and it was so fascinating to me, just. And then one year, my grandpa gave me a ukulele for Christmas, and I'd get that ukulele and I'd pull a Richie Valens. I'd go to school with it. Everybody would be at recess, and I'd be sitting down on the step, just making no sense with it, but I'd be strumming it, and that's where it just started.
Yeah, Las Vegas, it's not a big place,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of music up there. And
Yes.
they also got one of the best fiestas in northern New Mexico, for
That's
sure.
right, yes.
People come in from all over for that. But how many bands were there when you were coming up?
When I once counted all the bands that one year, there was like 14 bands
Wow.
in Vegas, all good.
Just in Vegas proper?
Just in Vegas
Wow.
proper. And there were some names that, that I got to meet, and I was really happy. Was Bobby Duran. He played with Bobby Darin.
No kidding.
Yeah, and a horn player, Steve Ledger, and he played with the Drifters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know
And
that.
there were some other ones but there was a group there, the Impellas, that were from there, and they would go on tour and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
And and bands used to go up to Colorado a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pueblo, to the state fair in Pueblo, Colorado, they'd go a lot.
They still do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Roberto Griego, he really made it,
Yes.
playing in Colorado. It was
Yes.
a big market for him.
Yeah.
And just, getting back to that, or maybe I could ask the same question of you, Jimmy. What was going on when you were a kid musically that got you going?
I think I always loved the drums. The neighborhood I grew up in, there was some older guys, and they were in a band, and I would sit outside for hours listening to those guys. And I had cousins in Las Vegas, New Mexico, that also had a band. I think they were called the Ventures in those days, or something like that. Not Blue Ventures, but Ventures, something. I don't know, but
Yeah, there was.
my cousin Bobby was a drummer, and his brother Orlando played guitar, and he was a singer. So, I'm like 6 years old, 7 years old, and I would just sit there for hours listening to them rehearse. All the other kids take off and go play or whatever, and I just sit there and play. But anyways, I think I always had a love for percussion instruments. I would always be drumming on, you name it, tables, without even knowing about it. I get in trouble at home for doing that. And The elementary school that I went to in third grade, they had music, and one of the instruments was drums, and of course I picked that up. I bought my first drum set, and it was not a good drum set. It was new. I got it from Sears, and I think it was like $99 or something, but that's my first kit. And I played on that thing until I got to high school, and then one day in high school, I was a junior, there was these guys that were getting a band together, and they asked me if I wanted to drum with them, and it took off from there. And then, of course, once I got older and stuff, I got married and all that stuff and stopped playing. And but I've always had a love for it, and this is the best thing that could ever happen to me after I retired, because, man, I never dreamed that I'd be playing in so many events and meeting so many great people. And this band is amazing, and I'm pretty loyal to this band.
Right on. Yeah. And we're going to talk a little bit more later about where you guys are playing,
Okay.
because you got a thing going.
Yeah.
You really do. But you got another tune to play, no?
Yep, we have a couple. We have one extra in case we can get it in there. So we play
What's this? Rock and roll curandera.
Yeah.
What's that about?
this one. Rock and roll curandera is
That's
about
great.
this. My curandera, her name was Cece, or Laura Alonso de Franklin. And after I had some deaths in the family, I was feeling like really bad, and I just like had an upset stomach for like 2 months. Not bad enough to like be really sick, but I just was like, what is this? I went to doctors, they couldn't do anything. So Rudy Miera, this friend of mine, says, go to a curandera. And I says, where? And so he gave me Laura's number, and I went there, and I was like fixed up. In the first like treatment that she gave me, I felt like twice as good. And then I went back the next day, and I was like totally feeling better, and have been feeling better ever since. And so she was all traditional, always wearing like white dress and stuff like that. And like her grandma was from Mexico, and she used to visit her every summer. And so I thought she'd be like super traditional with music. So I says, all right, what kind of music do you like? And she says, rock and roll. And so whenever she got real sick, I wrote this song for her. Let me find the right. All right, ready, Jimmy James, rock and roll curandera. Oh yeah, there you go. There's a lady that I know, her grandma lived in old Mexico. She'd visit her in the summer. She listened and she learned a lot about the magic of the world and became a curandera. Back home she listened to rock and roll, knew that it could soothe the soul, and dancing makes everything better. This rock and rolling curandera put it all together and busted across La Frontera. Rock and roll curandera, rock and roll, curandera. She learned about the sacred directions, smoke and mirror and its reflections, mysterious connections of the soul. Ow! Rock and roll, a curandera, rock and roll, curandera. La cultura es la cura. The culture is the cure. This lady that I know, she's She's from San Benito. She cured me when I was sinking. She cleared my body and my mind of wreckage that was lingering. She somehow knew what I was thinking. Later we were playing at La Placita on Isleta. She was working with her curandera crew. When the work was done, they wanted to have fun. We knew just what she could use. Rock and roll, a curandera. Rock and roll, oh, 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 curandera. Rock and roll, a curandera. Rock and roll, oh, 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 curandera. Rock and roll.
All right. And if you're joining us late on Studio 505, my name's Louis, hosting tonight with Paul Pino and Los Tone Daddies. And with me is Jessica Allen, KUNM's music director. And also a shout going out to Roman Garcia, who is doing the sound for us tonight. He's in the booth. And we love our engineers, don't we, people?
Yes,
we do.
wow. I love the mix.
Yeah, man. And that last song, I just want to mention that that rock and roll curandera, that was a woman named Laura Alonso de Franklin. Yep. And you said she got sick. She came down with pancreatic cancer, and you rushed to do that, write that song for her. And then what happened?
Yeah, what happened was, heard that she had pancreatic cancer, and I said, because I know people die from that like right away, and so I said, I better write this, and I need to write a song and I need to record it. So amazingly, I did it in about 2 weeks, got it all done, finished the song, sent it to her, and she liked it. And then she lived for 10 more years.
Wow.
Yeah. She was tough, man. She knew the curandera stuff, and how she lived that long with pancreatic cancer, I have no idea. But blessings, and thank you, Laura, wherever you are. Thank you, Cece.
Yeah. Well, one of the places I see you guys every now and again is at the senior centers or the multi-purpose centers here in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County. And you kind of, I kind of compare it to the Chitlin circuit, it's like
Yeah.
we got to come up with a name for it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a number of musicians that do that, right? Play around. But just a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a presentation to some elders at the South Valley Multipurpose Center on behalf of my school. I worked down at Polk Middle School down in Los Bahías. And lo and behold, the fellas were there. You didn't make it, but how did you guys get into doing that? Because you played a lot of them, right?
Yeah. At one time I had a band and we played for them, and then we got fired. Then I said, well, I guess they want us to play something else, and so we just played what they wanted. And man, it really got behind it, and I love it. And some people hate to play things like La Bamba or something like that, but I never have hated playing the things. You just try to make it as good as you can and as fun as you can. And I guess they're our peers, and man, we can barely keep up with them. People come out and they dance for 2.5 hours straight. I mean, rock and roll and oldies, rancheras, polkas. And so they just really amaze us. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
we could call it the Chicharrones circuit. The
maybe
Chicharron
that's
circuit.
the Chicharron circuit. Yeah, we got to come up with a name for that because it's it's a big deal here for musicians here in Albuquerque, and I think generally, the city and county are pretty supportive of all that, and if you guys can make a little bit of change doing that, and then get around, and the people love it, I mean, I see some of these folks getting out there and dancing. I can't believe my eyes, what I see them doing. So where you got some joints coming up anytime soon?
Oh, yes. Let me look here. So we have the regular ones that we play with the city and all that stuff, but on Thursday, April 9th, we're going to play for Peace in the Park in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and I'll list all these on Facebook. Look for Paul Pino on Facebook. On April 10th, we play at the National Hispano Cultural Center for the opening of the Tularosa Basin Downwinders Consortium's Nuclear Past, Present, and Future Art Exhibit. Then on Thursday, April 13th, I play for First We Bomb New Mexico, the film in Amsterdam. This South Valley lady is getting her doctorate over there, Tabitha Hreineck, and she's going to pay for me to go over there to play. Then we play on the Lobo Theater. I know I should leave more time for Wows because that blows me away. But Lobo Theater, we're going to play there on May the 22nd. They're trying to get New Mexico music started there on Fridays. And so we really want to get that off the ground. If anybody might want to play there, let me know because we need somebody to play with us that night. And then we're going to play for the Albuquerque Museum opening of Route 66 art exhibition opening on June 6th. Old Town Plaza later in the summer and the State Fair, of course.
Man, you're getting some stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yep.
And you're going to Amsterdam?
Yeah, I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm just like blown away. And it's all because of music, you know, and then like working with the Downwinders.
When is that?
That's going to be, let me see, it's coming up soon. It's like in a couple of weeks.
Oh, in a couple of weeks.
Amsterdam, yep. So everybody get your tickets to go to Amsterdam on April 13th.
Well, I was going to say if it happened when after school lets out, you could maybe I could carry your luggage over there. Or something like that, but
We'll drive down there.
April 13th.
You got another tune on the
Yes.
list, and tell us about that. There Must Be Angels.
All right. This one was written by Greg Martinez and I, and it was inspired by a lady named Amber Martinez. She's from the Four Corners area because she can talk to angels, and her family, you know, came and visited me one time, and I just like really believe what she says and what she can hear and what she knows and I believe the whole thing. But anyway, she inspired this, but also a policeman in Lincoln County, because we were like going to a funeral there. Me and Greg went by him at like 89 miles an hour. And when he stopped us, he just gave us a warning. So there's another indication that, yeah, there's angels. And so this is like a ranchera reggae. Let me see. It's a lot on our bass player because he has to start off all blasting, blazing.
That's okay. I took some Tylenol.
So this is There Must Be Angels. You told me once, you told me twice, but I didn't listen. You said look up, but I looked down. Now you were on a mission. You said there must be angels. You said there must be angels. You said there must be angels flying low. 'Cause I can't see them with my soul. We were driving 89 in a 55. The cop, he stopped us at the top of the Indian Divide. I said, we're trying to find the funeral of my cousin who's gone to the other side. And there policeman let us go. All right, Smooth is gonna play some guitar for us. Many benevides. Now what am I supposed to do with the fear and the hate I had for some men in blue? Low flying angels have taken that away. There's nothing that I can use, 'cause there must be angels. There must be angels. I said there must be angels flying low, 'cause I can see them with my soul.
Sweet.
All right. And we're going to kick it back up to the studio. But before I do that, it's been great having you guys on. You're going to stick around, Paul, for a
Yes,
little while? Because
definitely.
we're going to listen to some music, some stuff that's influenced you, and no
Right.
doubt
Yep.
most of the others in the band, right?
Yes,
so
definitely.
everybody stay tuned for that. I want to kick it over to Jessica in the control room, and this is Studio 505 here on KUNM 89.9 FM Albuquerque,
Everybody say woo!
Santa Fe.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right.